very good evening and a warm welcome to today's bootcamp on building a fully functional Candy Crush game using JavaScript. I am 𝗖𝗲𝗿𝗁𝘂𝗃 and I'm the Director for Community and Partnerships with OpenWeaver. OpenWeaver is a SaaS technology company supporting over 1 million developers worldwide build their ideas faster by reusing open source software. Our vision at OpenWeaver is to reinvent digital realization. Simply put, we'd like to improve the way applications are built. By investing in a unique combination of public domain knowledge and artificial intelligence, we are delivering smarter ways to build the digital world of tomorrow. Today's bootcamp is an integral part of our OpenWeaver community initiatives. The OpenWeaver community is a body of like-minded technology enthusiasts and open source contributors who have come together with the vision of contributing to the world of open source and also sharing how complex use cases can be solved or developed by reusing open source. Over the last few weeks, we have run several open source development bootcamps on a variety of topics such as building an AR-powered e-commerce site, building your own virtual agent, the basics of Python, building an AI model for breast cancer prediction, and many more to come. Today's bootcamp will cover the basics of gaming engines while focusing on a use case created for building your own Candy Crush game. Through today's bootcamp, you will see how technology does not have to be complex and definitely does not have to be developed in silos. You will see how you can take a solution which is pre-built, in fact, pre-built by many people in the world, and then further you can build on top of it and also share your solution back such that now your solution can be accessed by many others who can then build on top of your ideas, thereby helping you accelerate this cycle of innovation and also helping you scale your ideas much faster. With that brief introduction of today's agenda, I will now welcome our mentor for today's session, Pooja Agarwal, who is a senior developer advocate with OpenWeaver. Hi, Pooja.
Hello.
Welcome to the session, and thank you so much for putting together the Candy Crush session. This is, I know, a very exciting and an interesting one, a game that possibly all of us have played or at least heard of. So over to you, Pooja.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Welcome to this session on Candy Crush, building your own Candy Crush game. So I hope you are excited to go ahead and learn how we can build our own gaming engine, like one today we'll discuss. So let's get to the agenda of our today's session. So we'll talk about a little basic about how this game came into being, how this technology, a simple JavaScript based technology which has helped make this game so popular. Not just the graphics, but obviously the different technology that has made it take less time, less power, drain your battery less, and has enabled people to release their stress somehow, has become a global game played by one and all, not just the youngsters, but also people of ages, of all ages. So we would first simply talk about the technology behind it, then we'll talk about the gaming engine that is used to build Candy Crush. We will then move to the implementation part, which we will take help of CandyKit for getting to the solution quickly. So let's first set up the kit, and to set up the kit so let's get onto the community page. So on the community page, you will be able to check out the resources that are listed for this bootcamp. So you're already on this community page and viewing the session. If you see under the resources section, you have a Candy one-click kit option or a button available. Go ahead and click it. This will take you to the Build Candy Crush page on the Candy platform. Click this one-click installer. This will download a zipped file onto your local systems. Extract this folder. Before you start working with the batch file, it is very important that you extract this folder completely. After you have extracted, go ahead and say more info, run anyway. This will start setting up all the required resources and dependencies onto your system. So let them set up. Just minimize the screen and let's get back to the discussion on the concepts. But even before we go ahead and do that, my suggestion is that onto the community platform, you will be able to get the resources as well as here is the option to take the assessment. So this will help you fill in the information and get to the certification process. So go ahead and click take assessment post you have understood and discussed the concepts of the session. So let's get back and start with the session. So we're going to talk about this popular Candy Crush game today. We know that it was initially coded in the HTML5 or HTML, CSS, JavaScript, uh, simple programming languages of sorts, which are very easy to develop a very interesting application like the one we, all of us play all throughout the world. But how do we analyze it from a developer's perspective? We need to figure out that how we place the background image, what layout is present, and how do we allow the different square layouts over which the different images that we have to swap, and with three or more concurrent images that we swap, our candies should match. And that is how, after we have matched all the candies, blown all the glasses, etc., you are able to win this game. So that is how we play the game. And we want to discuss what technology behind this game is helping enhance our overall user experience. So AngularJS is what has made it more easy to use and more easy to basically deploy as an application from a development perspective. So if you ask about the Angular.js, it's a completely open source platform that is used to create single page applications. So these single page applications enable a very clean and maintainable way of uh, enhancing user experience where everything is available on a single page. So you just simply have to, you don't have to browse or navigate between pages wherein it takes time to load those pages, and somehow that makes it difficult for the higher consumption of battery and the option to, I would say, if you try to analyze it from a client's perspective on which the particular mobile device the application is running, you want to have a clean model view controller way. So the model view controller way is when I have a structure, and based on that structure the page starts loading, and most of the elements are preloaded. So that is also something that JavaScript helps us with, right? Everything is present in the browser. You don't need anything else to run the application, and most of the components get loaded directly onto the client's device, so that you basically, with the help of AngularJS, are writing applications which are more client side, or most of the things will happen onto the device itself, though you don't have to get connected to the server to load every single time a particular candy or particular object that is shown on the dashboard while you are playing the game. So that enhances the user experience by speedifying the game, by enhancing the way with which the game works. Also, the interesting part is that AngularJS is cross browser compliant. So it is not single browser dependent. You can run it on multiple browsers. In fact, the good part is that Candy Crush, if you ask, it was developed as a very rich internet application of sorts. The game directive is built using the AngularJS, thereby better handling the JavaScript. And thousands of developers around the world talk about how this efficient framework helps in creating internet applications that which are suitable for uh, quick loading and quick setup onto your devices. So we will try to talk about the game engines which are used to uh, enhance the user experience by providing a lot of characteristics. But we'll first talk about the different available game engines that are available. So you have Unreal, Unity, Godot, Game Maker Studio. These are the ones which are currently very, very popular. So if we talk about modern game engines, then you would see that if we go and check out the old games like the one like Super Mario or similar or sorts, you would see that those games were developed wherein it was important, or the core areas that were focused during the development of those games was the graphics, audio, and the logic, that how the game would get finished, or how the player would basically acquire or win over the game. So those were the key areas or core areas that were the area of focus when this game was developed previously, or I would say Super Mario or similar sorts of games were developed previously. But as with the help of these modern game engines that are available to us now, our focus has completely changed. We with the modern game engines, you are choosing, you're trying to provide the ability to perform some task with the minimal coding efforts. So as a developer, for me it should be that I don't have to do a lot of efforts to let the player perform a certain task within the game screen. So how does this modern game engines help? They try to shorten the development times significantly. The teams focus more on the design of the game, the delivery of the game, so that the game is more and more unique and and a better special user experience is what we want the user to have. So to do that, these modern game engines are highly equipped, and these modern game engines are providing us with various important things like physics. So the game that you play, it is very important that the game basically helps you get along with the uh, best of these features, right? So what if you ask me, so what are the features? We focus more on how better we can render the game. What is the physics that is behind the gaming engine, the sound, the scripting, the animation, the artificial intelligence, the networking that can happen, how many different players can play the particular game all together, how would the game load, how will the things stream, the memory management. So the more inventory is being created in the game, the more memory I have to manage for different players. Then the localization support. So the a 3D game engine, the modern 3D game engine is designed to develop a game which has advanced features, which make things more realistic for you. When you're in the game, you should feel that uh, there's an amazing graphic, there's sound, there's uh, there's a lot of innovation that you can see with the help of a minimal coding effort that your developers are putting, right? So that's what King, the organization behind Candy Crush, did. They developed this very, very interesting game and tried to enhance the user experience, tried to optimize the code up to a great extent, where they tried that that the better the optimization, the higher it is that we are able to enhance our users delivery. So if you talk about the modern gaming engines, we try to build up engines which have support for different mobile categories, not just your Android devices with the most depreciated versions, wherein they are say jelly bean or sandwich versions to what we have today are pretty pretty futuristic. However, with your gingerbread and J2ME phones, So the era where we were using this Java mobile application phones, on that also the game should load. So this is our current or today's kit graphic that I have shown on the right, and the game needs to load pretty fast. So it's important if you want to keep the player glued to the game needs to quickly load, and also it needs to reduce amount of battery that it drains while you're playing the game. So mostly people would play games when they are coming back from work, or basically they are taking a 5 to 10 minute break and they want to relax during that time. So whenever we are trying to let this game being more popular, we need to allow or we need to develop the application such that the battery drains the least amount of battery that can be consumed while the game is being played should be present. So we also have to take care of the network that is present, and it should be consistent because now the users stay connected to the internet all the time while they're playing the game. They're buying the goodies, they are buying the lives, they are getting connected, taking help from their different peers in the game, from their team members in the game. So all this needs to be taken care and is also enhanced with the help of these modern gaming engines that are available to us as of now. So you would ask that how you can, with I've named some modern gaming engines, but how you as a person can enhance your overall experience while developing these games. So either you work around with Unity, you work around with Game Maker, you work around with Godot, or this app game kit, if I remember rightly. These even Amazon has this 3D engine which helps in building up the games. It's called Lumberyard. So RPG Maker. So these are very popular game engines that can be used to create your video games. However, you need to understand the preferred choice to make games, right? So we are talking about Phaser now, which is again a open source node based uh, open source HTML5 platform that helps you build up your game framework. And it is based on it focuses more on how you can have a interesting game that can be played within the mobile browsers without downloading an application. And it uses 𝗥𝗲𝗿𝗁𝗂𝘂, which is another open source library that helps for rendering the game onto the browsers. So the browsers come inbuilt with the JavaScript, and with the help of the 𝗥𝗲, we are able to focus more on two elements which are important when we are trying to work around with the graphics of the game. One is your canvas element and the WebGL or the web graphics. So the good thing is with Phaser, you have inbuilt node-based audio support. You can work around with multiple channels, and all the node routing, all the kind of effects are already built into this tool. So what is Phaser? It is again a JavaScript based library which can help you run your game on all major desktop browsers. So it includes Internet Explorer 9 and above, Firefox, Chrome, and Safari. And also it uses both Canvas and WebGL to render internally and can automatically swap between both based on browser support. So this allows for fast rendering across desktop and mobile. Suppose you are playing the game on your systems, your desktops, and then you switch over to mobile. So that switching over, that fast rendering from one device type to another, is also possible when we use the Phaser HTML5 tool. And the interesting part is, the if you talk about the features, we want to talk about how this Phaser has helped us in getting to a better enhanced game, is that it helps us render internally and can automatically swap between different browsers, right? So this lightning fast rendering that it happen helps with between the desktop and the mobile is what we appreciate, and we that's why I want to go ahead and use this sort of a framework. So there is a preloader that is available in the Phaser which helps you in loading all your game assets as a single line of code. So you believe that if you see that in the game, we will have different objects that you would use to swap and then you will have your background dashboard, complete dashboard, that you would like to load as easily as possible. So Phaser comes in built with a preloader. All the images, the sound, the sprite sheets, tile maps, your JSON data, your XML, all are passed and handled automatically, so that these are ready for use in game. So we were talking about the physics, which is again a very important thing when you are developing the modern day games, wherein your phaser helps with the three types of physics systems into your games. One is your arcade physics. So your arcade physics is an extremely lightweight AA double B library, perfect for low power devices. So we want that the game should be supported well on the devices which are low on power. So you can build or you can use your arcade physics library, which is extremely lightweight, so the power consumption is not going to be huge. Then comes your impact physics, the second category of library, which helps for advanced tile support. And basically, with this advanced tile support, I'm able to enhance the user experience of the game. The third is your meta.js. So this meta.js is a full body system with springs, constraints, and polygon support. So the more and more you try to enhance your gaming experience, the choice of the physics will matter. Then is input. So if you see the different features that are available with phaser, you talk to the phaser pointer, and it doesn't matter if the input came from a touch screen or mouse. It can even change mid game without dropping a beat. So the touch, the mouse, the keyboard, all that handling is pretty amazing with your phaser HTML5. And hence it also enhances the it basically makes it easier for us as game developers to quickly deploy our game. The another thing we want to focus is the camera support. So Phaser has multi-camera support, so it can easily create extra cameras and then position and scale them anywhere on the screen. So not now particularly for this game, but for multiple games you would need a lot of uh, I would say multi-camera support. So the cameras can be scrolled and have special effects like shake, that shake, flash, and fade that are there. So the fading effect is there, the flash effect is there, the shake effect, all that you know we can simply do with the help of the camera feature, which is again available with your Phaser HTML5. So we've discussed the few interesting important features that Phaser provides and why this is used in today's game development. Next is TypeScript used for this particular game development. So JavaScript was introduced as a client-side programming language. So can we also use it for server-side? We can, but then the code becomes pretty heavy and complex. So all the object-oriented concepts and the server-side technology couldn't be used, and hence we moved to TypeScript, which is easier to work around with, and basically it eases the time that is taken. Basically I would say it adds additional syntax to JavaScript to support a tighter integration with your editor, and it catches error earlier as compared to JavaScript. So that basically helps you without worrying a lot about complex and heavy code. Gulp. So we've also used a task runner here, which which can help automate a lot of tasks, thereby simplifying your game development. So this Gulp purely uses JavaScript code, and it basically runs the front end task and large scale web applications very simply for you, thereby enabling the minification of your CSS and HTML pages. And all the concatenation that happens with the different libraries is also possible with Gulp, so that you have your SAS files easily compiled. So we've used Gulp not just for automating, but we've used it so that the minification and concatenation task can be run using shell or bash scripts on the command line itself. So as a tester or a game developer, you can quickly do all that on your own. You can manage the file manipulation in memory, enhance the speed using the Node.js platform. All this Gulp helps you with. So this is one of the tools that we have used. So how do we figured out all the tools. We've known that we are using Gulp, we are using Phaser, we are using game engines to develop this game. How do we check out what is the right open source library or tool that I would like to use? So one thing is, you do check out that all these tools which are open source are available to anyone and everyone free of cost. You don't have to worry about you don't have to worry about a lot of uh, restrictions. Only thing is, you need to check out whether the open source tool or library that you're using has a permissive license or a strong copy left or a weak copy left sort of a license. Why license is important? When you're picking up from the community, when you're picking up from the open source platform, it is important that you check out how well your how what is the license agreement that the provider of that particular repo library has uh, put forward, right? So you can download these open source from kandi, but you can also check out the 4 key features that can help you with your application development and enhance the way in which you will be able to deploy the application for commercial uses as well. So let's now get to the development part or check out our kandi kit. So you would have, I'll just share my screen to showcase you wherein the game has reached. So we will now get to the folder. So mostly I believe you guys would be here. You just have to say yes. So this will try to set up the dependencies onto your system. We'll just let this set up. In the meanwhile, I will open the setup folder and discuss the code with you. So this is where my Candy Crush game is getting set up. I will open it in the VS Code, and in the VS Code within the source file, I have my app and the CSS and my reference.ts and the typings. So you see we have used your Angular as well as your there are jQuery, Mocha, your node modules that are used for the complete application development. Within the index.html, we have basically listed down how your code is going to load and how the controller. So we were talking about the model view controller that will load your Phaser script, your Angular script, and your app game onto your systems. So after this installation will finish, this will automatically open the game for you. So you'd see that the time is already running. So this is the game, Candy Crush, that's there. We'll play the game. Also, this has music to it. Just mute the music here. So you can swipe the different candies and just try to complete the game. So yes, it says the game is completed and then it reloads. So now quickly let's try to get to the code part. So we'll get back to the code part. So we'll go to the source. In fact, you just go back to your game, and within the game we would see that you have your assets, and in the assets you have the different levels. So currently we have this 0 to 5 different levels that are present for the kit that you would set up. And then in the assets we also have the different, right, like sounds which are getting played when you're swiping the candies, when you are simple background music is there, error code is there, whatever are the images, the croissant. I'll just click on the different images which are there, which are present in the image. So we will basically use these as the assets. for the game. So you can load new assets, add new assets, and with the help of these, basically you can play the game. Now let's get to the models. In the models, there is this reference.ts wherein your add cookie, the chain type, which is horizontal and vertical, are defined. If you go to the level.ts, the definition of the level, how the different tiles, these have been loaded into the level class, and within that we are trying to configure the game, create a cookie array of cookies, and then initiate the code setup here completely. So you do have the level.ts, you also have your swap.ts tiles. For the tiles also we have written the script so that the placement of the different assets of the tiles are perfectly done. So this is where your game scene.ts is present. Within the game scene.ts, you will have the entire scene being loaded. So the width of the tile, the height of the tile, whatever is the margin, the game objects, all that is being provided here. And then we are trying to load the game scene state of the particular level. Okay, then you are basically setting up the sound here, the audio, uh, the match sound, the falling cookie sound, the add cookie, the after the swapping has happened, after the matching has happened, all that sounds are added here. And then increasing the level, right? Once you are able to finish level 0, you should be able to get to level 1, and similarly to 2 and 3. So all that is present in the game scene.ts TypeScript file. So uh, so this is just this these are basically the level text. Within the level, they have created the font, the fill, the alignment of how the text would look. So you can customize all of this as well as per your requirement, or we would just also go to the timer. So in this, if you see, we have the timer also set up for our game. So we'll just go and check. Currently we have a 30-second timer. If you go here, you'll just reload the game. So the timer starts with 30 seconds. So now this is where we can also just change this to say 45. We'll save the code. Yeah, we'll save it. And we'll go back, reload. The swapping and the entire game loads well. We initially now are at level 1. You can complete the game and go ahead with the level 2. So I guess we just finish with this, and I would just like you to go ahead and ask the questions now.
Thank you, Pooja. Thank you very much for that session and for walking us through the entire Candy Crush game and the code behind it. I believe we covered 3 key things in today's session. We covered the fundamentals of Phaser HTML gaming engine, Gulp and Angular.js, a hands-on session on how we can create a Candy Crush game using TypeScript language. And then we also could learn how you can use Candy to kind of bring all of these open source assets together and build your own game engine. So for all our participants today, do take a look at some of these one-click kits that have been developed by young and senior developers just like you, and on some very relevant topics as well. In fact, not just kits, you could even use the open source software to check out some very simple concepts. If you are not yet a developer or you are not yet in a position to create these applications, you can even use the open source software to check out some very simple concepts that you're possibly studying in college, etc. So Pooja, we have some questions from our community members. I was wondering if we could possibly take a few of those questions. So first, one of our members would like to know what game engines are most easy to work with.
Okay. So we've already talked about Unity, Amazon Slumber Yard, but So it will be preference to preference basis. Unity is very, very popular. Also, all the learning materials, all the course, structure, everything is so simply put onto their platforms that just by going and logging into Unity, you would be able to figure out how you can start your journey by building up these, how you can build up your own 3D game engines, 3D models. So not just Candy Crush, many other kits that we talk about which uses even face filters, people popularly use Unity as the platform for development of the 3D models. So my suggestion would be Unity, but I would leave the option to you. We have listed down some game engines during the session. Go ahead, check them out. I will also share the link in the comments if you would like. Check those and try to work around, and depending on your own ease, go ahead and work around a particular game model.
Perfect, lovely. We have another question, which, yeah, I think they'd like to know why use TypeScript to program when we already have JavaScript.
So this is very important here because if you would see, TypeScript is also built on top of the JavaScript only. The only reason for its popularity is that for large scale applications, if you just want to deploy a simple project, gaming project, work around with JavaScript. But if you want something you want to be popularly used by different people around the world, wherein you would need a lot of good speed, you want the applications to run more client specific or server specific, then you should choose TypeScript for large scale applications, for more reliability of your code, uh, you know, for interchangeability between devices. So that is also something
Understand.
very good. Yeah.
Lovely. Great. So thank you, Pooja. And if we have any more questions, please do send them on our YouTube comments. I know we've got a few and we will respond to it on the chat. Thank you, Pooja, for today's session. And with that, we will wrap up today's session. And yeah, and please do complete the certification form, and you will receive it in a week. To stay updated on recent trends in open source, please do also join us on our community platform as well as our social media channels. Um, we look forward to seeing you again in our next session very soon. Until then, thank you very much and bye-bye.